discovered bloody tire tracks leading to uncertainty. If we had a normal asphalt driveway instead of a concrete one, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it. But the bloody tire tracks stood out starkly against the pale concrete, and they were clearly coming from my vehicle. I froze in place. The golden light from the garage spilled out from behind me, illuminating them. They were dark and thick at the end of the driveway, fading to pale pink as they got to the garage. I must have hit something. I swallowed. I hated hitting animals. In fact, I'd only hit one animal in my entire life, a squirrel that ran under the tires before I could even blink. The blood was so fresh and dark at the end of the driveway, I must have just hit it on our road. I crouched to the ground, my heart pounding, fearing I'd see the mangled body of some poor raccoon or something stuck to my tires. But there was nothing, just the blood. I walked down to the bottom of the driveway and glanced around, turning on my phone's flashlight, but I didn't see anything. Just the empty street dotted with cars, lights glimmering on the houses across the street, people moving inside as they got ready for dinner. I looked down at the thick, fresh, shiny blood imprinted on the concrete. Maybe it's paint or a puddle of discolored water? I finally went inside, somewhat unnerved, said a quick hi to my husband and started heating up dinner for myself. I watched the bowl twirl in the microwave, but I wasn't relaxed. The longer I thought about it, the more it didn't make sense. My husband and I had hit animals before, and we'd never made tire tracks of blood before. I mean, did a squirrel or raccoon even have that much blood? Maybe it wasn't an animal? Maybe it was a person? No, I pushed the thought out of my head. That's ridiculous. I couldn't run over someone without even realizing. But my eyes aren't on the road 100% of the time. I never check my phone, but I have to use the stupid touchscreen to adjust the heat. What if someone ran out while I was adjusting it? What if I ran them over without noticing? What if it was a child? No. There is no way I wouldn't have noticed hitting a person, even if it was a child. I would have felt a bump. I would have seen something. You okay? Dave asked, walking into the kitchen. Yeah, I muttered. Your food's been done for a while, and you've just been staring at the microwave. There's blood on my tires for some reason. His eyebrows raised. For some reason? I guess I hit an animal or something, but it couldn't have been far from the house because the blood would have worn off by then. But I don't see any animal out there. It's really weird. That is weird, he said. We faded into silence. I ate some, but it still bothered me. What if I hit someone and it didn't kill them? What if they're crying for help right now, half alive, and they're gonna die unless I get them help? Someone else would hear them, right? I would hear them, right? Give me a second, I said, getting up and walking towards the garage. Okay, sure. I walked back out to the driveway. The blood was still there, shining gold in our outside lights, but duller now as it began to dry. I swallowed. That's a lot of blood. If it is blood at all. Okay, just shut up. Get in the car and drive. I backed out of the driveway and slowly drove down our street. If I did hit something, it wasn't far. The blood would have worn off the tires before I pulled into the driveway if it were far. It had to be somewhere on our street, if it even happened at all. I drove slowly down our street, high beams on. I scanned every nook and cranny that the headlights barely reached. Shadows pooling under cars, a pile of leaves and sticks. I didn't see anything. Maybe you hit an opossum or something, and maybe a fox already came by and snatched it for dinner. We did have a lot of foxes. That was the most likely thing. But then wouldn't I see a blood smear on the road? But the road was dark, so maybe not. Either way, there was no half-dead person crying for help in the middle of the road, so my mind was at ease. I sighed and pulled back into the driveway. You didn't hit anything. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. I was so distracted in my own thoughts that I pulled into the driveway crooked. Sighing, I put the car in reverse to fix it. No, in my backup camera, there was a dark, tangled mass at the end of the driveway. Pale limbs, dark hair, contorted in a way that looked wrong. Dark, shiny liquid seeped from the person's abdomen. No, I just drove there. That wasn't there. It wasn't. I blinked and it was gone. I sat there for a minute, my entire body shaking. Then I put the car in park and slowly crept towards the end of the driveway, peering around the edge of the car. My legs were weak underneath me. I clung to the side of the car like a mountain climber clings to the side of a mountain, every step feeling like I would tumble down and never get up. I got closer. Nothing was there. The driveway was empty. No person. Just the same bloody tire tracks from when I first pulled in. I leaned against the side of the car, relief flooding me, my legs almost giving way. Just my imagination. It had looked like a woman, with white clothes and dark hair tangled and crumped, bent unnaturally. My mind barely able to tell what exact position she'd been in. But I'd misinterpreted what I saw. Maybe a trash bag or some leaves blew by, and my brain in its panicked state said it was a woman who'd been run over, because I was staring at that spot, the spot where she'd been lying right now. There was absolutely nothing there. I finally turned around and made my way towards the front of the car, but as I took a step, I saw it on the concrete, clear as day, a lock of dark hair poking out from underneath the car. No, it can't be. I lowered myself, inch by inch. It's just a stick. Dead grass. Something. My heart pounded so hard I saw stars. I leaned down, but I still couldn't see if anything was under the car. I got down on my hands and knees and took a deep breath. I can't do this. Oh God, please, let there be nothing there. My arms and legs shook. I stared at the lock of hair just a few inches from my hands. Not sticks. Not leaves. Hair. Please, no. I pressed my cheek to the concrete and looked under the car. A woman stared back at me. No. Her hand shot out and yanked me under. The concrete scraped my back. The metal chassis of the car bit into me. But she was so strong. In seconds, I was staring up at the dark metal underbelly of the car, claws digging into my arm. I was screaming. My scream sounded so small under the car, and that's when I realized I was alone. The woman was gone. I was lying flat on my back, under the car, alone. Squelch. I turned, the concrete painfully scraping my scalp. I could see two pale, blood-soaked feet in the gap between the car and the driveway, like the woman was just standing there next to the car. Then she turned and walked away. Squelch, squelch, squelch. Seconds later, my husband came barreling out of the house. He helped me out from under the car, absolutely panicked. What happened? He kept asking, but I didn't have a good answer. I'd almost think I imagined it, if it weren't for the bloody bare footprints, staining the concrete, fading to pink as they meandered into our garage. I don't think I've ever run over anyone, but how can I know for sure?